Welcome to Revive Ministries Podcast. This month's theme is remembering our stories, finding hope. As we head into the end of the year, we maybe have the temptation to compare our lives generally. Like we may feel we have the short end of the stick. Maybe we have barriers that may seem overwhelming. Some of the biggest barriers, especially me working in the mental health field, maybe just a barrier to feel heard. Today we have a new guest. Her name is Sapna. I just want to. She has a speech impediment. However, we're gonna, everyone's voice matters. So, thank you so much, Sapna, for coming on and sharing your insight with us.
My pleasure.
Okay. Well, I want to just, as I said, I want to make a disclaimer. A lot of times in my each episode, I want to make a disclaimer for those who are in the States. 988 is a suicide hotline. If you are struggling, wherever you are in the world, I encourage you to find help, find that support that you need. And, like I said, everyone's story is, important. That's why I love to have this kind of theme at the end of the year. I also want to say for those around the world, there's different suicide hotlines on the Revive Ministries website. There is a list of them, but here are some from Hong Kong. It's 852-238-2000 if you're in the suicide hotline. And in other countries like India, the suicide hotline is 888-17666. And I always say things people say better than me, Sapna. So I'm going to go with a quote and kind of hear what you think about it. It's from Henry David Thoreau. It says, "It's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see." What comes to mind when you hear this quote?
Well, when we begin to see, we begin to understand.
Mm-hmm.
What we are seeing.
Mm. Yeah, and I do feel that a lot of times what we see kind of shapes how we see ourselves in that world, and whether we are able to maybe navigate through some of the bigger barriers in our lives. Is that something that you feel that is important, especially given what you've been through, Sapna, to kind of navigate through some of the barriers you're facing today?
Yeah. It was more relevant in my past. When I had tinnitus. But now that I recovered, it's a lot easier now.
Okay. And what kept you going? I know we're going to talk a little bit more about what brought you here, what your story is, and also the book that you wrote. But what kept you going when other people weren't seeing what you were seeing?
That is a very hard question. Because to begin with, I went to the doctor. Who referred me to an audiologist. And he said And he said there's no hope of recovery.
Mm.
And I have to live with it.
That must have been very hard for you, Sapna, to hear.
One of the worst times of my worst time of my life.
One thing when I think about when we face like I can't imagine getting just having that kind of conversation with a doctor. But I just want to there's a Albert Einstein. You know Albert Einstein, Sapna? A lot of us do, and he says it this way: he says, "Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning." When I read a little bit about your summer before our meeting today, and uh, I just felt that you didn't stop questioning things, Sapna, did you?
Not really. So I, when the noise, when the noise were loud,
Mm-hmm.
it was driving me mad. And one thing I realized, and one day I decided to one day I realized I decided to do a random SEARC. One day I decided to do a random search on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And put information
Mm-hmm.
and I got the information on hypnosis
Mm-hmm.
and tinnitus.
Mm.
And that is when I began hypnotherapy.
Mm.
And that's when I started, my journey of recovery started with recovery from tinnitus.
Mm. And how did that experience when you first went to start hypnotherapy? How was what were you feeling? Did you where were you? How did you prepare for it, or better yet, how did you feel the first few times doing it? Were you confident? Did you feel that what kept you going? I know I asked you this before, but this sometimes are pivotal when you're trying to seek help.
So the first time when I went,
Mhm.
I noticed that the sound of tinnitus went down
Mm.
very slightly, and that gave me hope.
Mm. There's a quote that I put in the outline, but I think it really speaks to what I'm hearing part of your story. And after I share this quote, I'm going to give you the opportunity to share your story. Basically, I want the floor is yours, but I want to share this quote and hear what you think about it. It's from Al Siebert. No, Siebert. He says, "Resiliency is something you do more than something you have. You become highly resilient by continuously learning your best way of being yourself in your circumstances." Is there anything that speaks to you about this quote before we start getting into where you are today and what brought you here?
Then the only thing I can think of is you need to be resilient, resilient to recover from tinnitus.
Mm, mm. I know there's a lot you want to share. Right now I want to give you that opportunity. I usually give this to those who are new, which you're new, and people returning. I always find, um, it's very brave of anyone to come up on here and share their story, and it's very brave of you, Sapna, to come on here, and I appreciate you coming on. So the floor is yours to kind of share maybe a little bit about your story that you're comfortable with, and what do you think is important that people should know about what you've been through?
I think I think the most important thing that people have to remember, if if they have a tinnitus and they can't, and they go to their doctor, it is more than likely then doctor okay, so doctor will say, don't worry, go home. And there's nothing you can do about there's nothing that you can do about the noise. But I don't agree. Because there's a lot you can do. But the problem is that sometimes tinnitus is not non-medical. Sometimes tinnitus is a non-medical issue, and therefore it needs treatment and it needs a treatment in a non-medical way. and doctors don't seem to understand.
Mm. You wrote a book, The Returning Silence, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about what prompted you and a little bit um, why do you felt it was so important for you to share your story?
Oh, when I began hypnotherapy,
Mm-hmm.
I had I had no idea if I would recover, but I did.
Mm.
I learned so much about recovery,
Mm.
and and I was also a PhD student,
Mm-hmm.
and I also learned how to research.
Mm.
So I knew there were nothing out there
Mm.
for tinnitus, for tinnitus and recovery.
Mm.
So I wanted to write a book,
Mm.
and here is here is a copy of that.
Mm. Okay. You know, I asked that just to give you an opportunity to share a little bit more, but I just know whenever there's something, especially I'll just speak from my perspective when I was going through my mental health issues, and the thing is, whatever I learned, wherever, now that I work in the field, I want to share that hope. And, you kind of want to share that hope for people who are struggling just like you,
Yeah.
correct? Yes. So I appreciate and I thank you for sharing, this. And also, for those who are listening, I do. If you want to find out more about the book, it'll be in the notes, so you could check out what's about the returning silence and what's. Can you to kind of share with us what made you come up with the name returning silence? I could guess, but I want to hear it from you. Why do you call it the returning silence?
Because for me, silence is an entity
Mm.
that was missing,
Mm.
and recovery of what recovery on was a recovery was a journey,
Mm. Mm.
and recovery was a journey to take silence back.
Mm. Your story is inspiring. I think of Helen Keller, who says, "Although the world is full of suffering, there's also full of overcoming of it." I do. I just want to say, commend you for, taking the time. One thing is, oh, I feel better, and I'll go on with my life. But you don't go on with your life. You want to share what you learned. So that I commend you there, and also Mark Twain. When I was going to school, I read a lot of Mark Twain growing up, and he says that courage is resistance of fear, mastery of fear, not absence of a fear. You mentioned that it was hard. It was very hard hearing from the doctors what they told you, but it didn't stop you. Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Mm. So, um, how are you today? Can you share? We're talking about. Um, Besides, obviously, it's like very commendable. Hypnotherapy has helped you. You learn that it's not, your situation was more mental, and reading your synopsis, it had to do with post traumatic stress disorder, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
And go ahead. Sorry.
well,
When?
no, 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 no,
Not many people noticed.
no,
Not many people know
no,
this,
no,
but
hello,
having a
no,
having a
no, no,
having a disability
no,
can
but,
be can be a
do it,
trigger
for,
for
deal with the truth, the
post-traumatic stress disorder.
Mm,
the hallelujah,
It
no,
it's nothing.
no,
It doesn't
help,
help
help,
happen.
no,
It doesn't happen to
hallelujah,
everyone.
mm,
more,
But in my case, I had some. But in my case, I had some very bad experience
mm,
in 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 school
mm,
with which which gave me trauma. Like
mm, mm. And with hypnotherapy, and with the direction that you made, I would say a lot of times we have to personalize our care. We have our own context, so uh, it may not work for everyone, but it's important to remember who you are and what your story is, so you can best find maybe the appropriate level of care that you need. Is that another way of saying it?
not really,
Okay.
but it is more like I wanted was not allowed.
I see.
Be I was not allowed to be me.
I see.
I was not allowed to have an H E D U education. I was not allowed to have education like other children because I went to a special school.
I see. I see. Um, there's, I want to mention, again, I appreciate, and your story is inspiring, because, we are limited to our own context. People who don't have a disability, or disabilities that may interfere with communication, or you a person who's in a special setting when it comes to education. A lot of times, if you're not in it, you don't understand that the barriers that people put up when it comes to access of education, and that nature.
Yeah.
So I want to say, what inspired me when I was listening to what you were sharing, and I do appreciate that not only your story that's transparent, but that I feel that it just feels um how you can say just very authentic, and I just want to again, and I'm not saying this without just saying I really do. I appreciate all my guests, but I want to say I appreciate you coming on and sharing this. I want to. We're not finished yet, but I want to share this from Viktor Frankl. He says the last human freedom is one's ability to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. So, despite them saying you're not allowed to have education, it didn't seem like it stopped you. Re-
Well, it is a long story,
Hmm.
but I I I managed to get, but I managed to get an education when
Hmm.
when the school closed down.
Hmm. You know, I just want to ask as we kind of wrap up, Sapna, any final thoughts? I think what you're sharing, what you're doing is incredible. And for me, a lot of times people think of strength as, exterior, but it just shows in your character that you have a lot of strength. So, any final thoughts that you want to share with those listening today? What would you want them to know or hear, or what would you like to say?
Re- I I think if someone has if someone has tinnitus, they need to probably look into their emotional past and see if they have, and look for if they have trauma connected with that, and if they do, and if they do, they need to work through the trauma to recover from it. But it is not easy. But it is not easy, but it is possible.
Hmm. Just want to say thank you, Sapna, for coming on and sharing your thoughts and insight with us today. Any links or anything that you want me to add in the notes as for those who are listening, um, you'll be able to be able to connect with the book. I do encourage you to get one. I think this story is inspiring. Thank you again, Sapna. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed talking to you. And the website for Returning Silence is and The website for Returning Silence is thereturningsilence.com.
Okay. And those who are listening, it'll be clickable underneath. I encourage you again to check that out. I just wanted to tell those who are listening to stay updated with Revive Ministries through the various platforms. Again, thank you, Sapna, for coming on, taking your time all the way from, is it London? You're from London, is that correct?
London, UK, yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for coming on across the pond, as we would say.
Oh, yeah.
Coming on, leaving with this Chinese proverb, actually. It says, a bird does not sing because it has an answer. It sings because it has a song.